Hello coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Let's take a look at what I have right here. Got a 1942 dime, 1942, 1945, 1941, 41, 43, 43. You guys get the idea. These Mercury Dimes that I have in front of you are part of my collection, and they're all dated 1940s. Now, chances are, if you've got a Mercury Dime, there's a very good chance that it's dated 1940 as well. So in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of rare Mercury Dimes from the 1940s, as well as why the chances are that you have one Mercury Dime that's from the 1940s, as well as we'll get into two different era coins. One of them is the 1942 over 41 dime. The other one is the 1945 Micro S Mint Mark dime. Now first, before we get into the video, if you've been enjoying these, please do subscribe to the channel. Only about 10% of the people who watch these videos, based on the stats that I've got, are subscribers, so if I could get that up, I would really appreciate it. That helps YouTube know that people are enjoying these videos, and then YouTube will promote more videos to other people, so that just helps. Another kind of house cleaning item that I want to mention, in my most recent video about the categories of dimes made after 1965 that can be worth money, I think I might have misspoke a little bit there. I might have said the word proofless. What I was trying to say is proofless S coins. So if you've got a dime that has a proof finish to it, but it doesn't have the S mint mark on it, then it will be a rare coin worth money, worth collecting, worth hanging on to. So if you've got a proof coin that doesn't have the San Francisco mint mark on it, that's going to be rare. So hopefully I cleared up that things. And thanks to Don Tillison for pointing that out in the comments. I addressed his comment and I said I'd mention it in this video as well, in case anyone else had confusion about that. So now let's get into these Mercury Dimes. So I'm going to move most of my pile aside and just focus in on these two right here. So we've got one that has the S mint mark on it, and that's where the mint mark will be on these Mercury Dimes, kind of the bottom left of the fasces. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with the Mercury Dime altogether, the Mercury Dime is officially the Winged Liberty Head Dime. So the image that you see on the obverse of the coin is a young Lady Liberty. She's wearing the Figrum cap. Now, originally when they made this, it was called the Winged Liberty Head Dime, but then it got some confusion as people kind of mistook this image right here with that of the Roman god Mercury, who has a very similar kind of Figrum hat that looks something like that and is kind of a young god or goddess as well. So that's what we see here on the Mercury Dime obverse. We've got a young Liberty wearing a Figrum hat. Now, as far as the lowest mintage will be 1916 Denver Mint. However, there were a couple of years that they didn't even make any dimes. So they didn't even make any Mercury Dimes from 1922, 1932, and 1933. And in general, these were made from 1916 until 1945. Unfortunately, Franklin Delano Roosevelt passed away April 12th, 1945. So the following year, starting 1946, they started making the Roosevelt Dimes. So that's what we see today. That's who we see on the obverse of the dimes is Roosevelt. Now, as far as the highest year of production, the highest year of production are what we're talking about today, the 1940s. So that's most noticeable in kind of looking at the mintages. I'm going to speak mostly just on the Philadelphia Mint here to clarify things and make things simple. So in 1939, 67 million produced at the Philadelphia Mint. 1940, 65, but then all of a sudden, 1941, 175 million, 1942, 205 million, 1943, 191 million, 1944, 231 million. So they really jump up starting around 1941 all the way up until 1945 when they stopped producing these. Previous to that, the mintages weren't even close to the hundreds of millions for a specific dime. Now, if you have one that's made prior to the 1940s, then it's going to be worth a little bit more money, which is a very cool thing if you've got one and if you've got one in great condition. Now, the main grading that people will look at for these Mercury Dimes, you've probably heard these abbreviations before, FB. FB indicates full bands. So on the fasces that we've got going up and down right here, we've got these bands that go across in 3 different intervals. Now those are kind of the high point on the reverse of the coin. So those are the first area that's going to wear out. If you've got one of those that doesn't have any wear and tear on it, that will earn it the designation of full bands, and that'll be worth a lot more money. So if you're looking through the PCGS kind of pricing guide and you see the FB designation, that indicates full bands. Now there are 2 error coins that I want to talk about in today's video. The first one, the most valuable one, is the 1942/41. It's a double die on the obverse, specifically on the date. But what makes it a little bit more rare, what makes it a little bit more kind of special than the regular double dies, is that they've repunched the date, using a different date. So it's a 1942. You see the year 1942 punched on top of the year 1941. Now PCGS has graded these. They've graded 9 of them at a mint state 66, and you won't believe how much these are worth. These are worth $97,500 is the book value, the price guide for a mint state 66 with that 42/41 mint mark. Now, though these have sold recently at auction in January 2018, one sold graded by PCGS at a mint state 66 full bands for $120,000. So that's a real life heritage auction, January 2018. You can look it up and verify it, but that's the actual price that these coins are selling for. Now, the other error coin I wanted to mention in today's video is going to be worth significantly less money, but still a rather cool coin. Since it's kind of going to be worth less money, that indicates that there are more of these in circulation, so chances are you might be able to find one of these. So what this one is the 1945. Now, there are a lot that were produced in 1945, but some of them have what's called the micro S mint mark. So the S is significantly smaller than the normal S punches. Now at a mint state 65, these are going to be worth $85. Now in 1945, they were still punching these mint marks separately from the regular die. So there's going to be some variety in the different mint marks that you look at. So I'm going to slide this one over. Here's the D on this one, and then look at the D on this one. So you can see there is some variety in your dimes in all of the coins where they kind of punched the mint mark separately from the entire die. So that is one you should be on the look for, the 1945 San Francisco Mint Micro S mint mark. So we'll start to wrap it up today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. What we talked about here is how many kind of hundreds of millions of Mercury Dimes that were being produced in 1941 all the way up until the year they stopped in 1945. We also highlighted one very, very valuable coin, the 1942/41 error coin, as well as a less valuable but equally exciting coin, the Micro S mint mark. That's all I've got for today. If you've got any comments, if you've got any questions, feel free to let me know. And you'll see me again tomorrow on another coin video. Thanks everyone. Enjoy.